Welcome to Radically Word of the Week. My name's Edwin and this week's word is competent versus incompetent failure. When we're doing complex work, that is, work with unknown unknowns, the best approach for learning about the problem space is just by getting stuck in and giving it a go. In this type of work, there's typically no right answers. There's typically many good solutions with one or two being better. Imagine you gave a problem to 6 software developers. Each of them will write the solution in a different way. Now, all the solutions might work, but one or two of them are likely to be better for whatever reason. Successfully leading in this space often requires a different set of skills to what many of us have learned. Our focus shifts to creating a culture where it's safe to experiment and learn. Typically, the way we do that is to create a bounded environment where it's safe to experiment without the risk of causing disaster. In other words, it's psychologically safe. When talking to clients about psychological safety, a term we often hear is the concept of failing fast. Yes, if we're going to fail, we want to do so quickly. But fail fast kind of misses the mark, and let me explain why. We see 2 different types of failure: competent failure and incompetent failure. And it's important to understand the difference between them. Competent failure is when it's safe for someone to try something new and learn from it. As leaders, we try to create a bounded environment where it's safe for others to try and experiment with the work in a safe way. Our role as leaders is to ensure they have guidance and support, but also boundaries to make sure that if it does go wrong, it doesn't go wrong catastrophically. To ensure it's safe, think of the 3 C's: competency, clarity, and control. Competency. Are they ready to take this on, and what basic skills might they need to have in place before they get underway? Clarity. Do they truly understand the outcome we're after, and is it actually safe for them to proceed? What are the consequences of failure? What guardrails are in place? And how do we know as leaders when we might need to get involved? Control. Now you need to step back and give them the space, but let them know that you're there and available to step in as needed. By doing this, we're creating a safe space where people can experiment. It's not about failing fast. It's about failing in a healthy and safe way. In contrast, incompetent failure is when someone doesn't have the basic skills where they can experiment and grow. In other words, it isn't safe. Incompetent failure is actually largely leadership failure, and it can be really damaging. Here's an example. Recently, a client told me that they had tried to experiment with the concept of trying to place many frequent small bets. They wanted to experiment with some new techniques to see how it might work for some of their teams. Well-meaning leaders supported the proposal, but failed to check that the team had the competency and had the guardrails in place in order to succeed. Once the team got underway, they ran it into a cascading series of problems and found they had to rapidly back out. They felt like they'd failed in a really unproductive way. Even worse, they got roasted for it by the leaders. This is incompetent failure, and it's not fair, and it's really damaging. This team is now really unlikely to try to do this sort of thing again. So just remember, as we go about reinventing the world of work, leadership skills are now even more important than ever. The leader's role is to set our people up for competent failure, not fast failure. And we do this by ensuring it's safe and they have the right support. As a leader, what are you doing to establish a safe environment for competent failure in your firm? Thanks for watching Radically Word of the Week. This week's word was competent versus incompetent failure.